Let's see. Ashley asks if this is being recorded and it will be emailed afterwards. Well, I'm not going to email it afterwards, although I guess I'll send out an email announcement when it's posted on the site. It will be available publicly for viewing on the site here. It's going to take, well, I don't know how many days it's going to take to do that, but it'll take a couple of days. But it will be available on the site. I'll send everybody a link to it, but it'll just be on the blog if you ever wonder. Chris asked whether or not it's been tested on all browsers. I've been creating this little responsive skin I mentioned, and I've been testing it in all browsers, including on the Mac, and it's been working fine. So it definitely looks like it works just fine on all browsers. Let's see. I'm just looking at. Tom asked, how do I make changes, code level, custom CSS? It's not at all the same, and I'll show you that. But Tom, you're going to hardly ever write any anymore. And Tom is asking whether or not, or can you get your copy of Thesis 2? It hasn't been publicly released. We're still looking at an alpha version. Sometime in the future, it's going to be available. But I mean, sometime today, it's going to be available. But I just don't know when that's the case. And I'll have links set up on my site for downloading the stuff that I create. So, and to the extent that you like coding, Tom, you're going to have a blast because there's all kinds of coding you can still do. It's just not absolutely necessary. Is caching built in? Some caching is built in. That is, it uses the WordPress transient system for caching queries and caching information like that, but it doesn't have caching it doesn't create static HTML and serve up static pages like, say, W3 Total Cache does. But okay, let's jump into stylizing this thing because we have now succeeded in creating a 2-column layout and 4 widget areas. And the next thing we're going to do is style. What are we doing? We are going to add a header image up here, and we're going to do it beside the navigation menu. And it's going to look something like this by the time we're finished. This whole thing here is the header. So we'll have our big logo, our cool little menu, and then this block of text. That's all going to be in the header. So that's next. And let's get back over to the site. Whoops. Too many open windows. So let's see. Come back over to our skin editor here, and we're going to take a look at the page skin. And in the page skin, we want to change the header. So what I'm going to do is, at the moment, I'm going to take the site title out. I'm going to drag it over and drop it here. But I do want 2 columns in here. And what does that look like? That almost looks like it's 3 columns, but 1 column is 1/3 and the other, I better measure this. I'd forgotten about that part of this question. Yeah, okay. It's not quite. So we're just going to call this, we're not going to call it 2 columns. What we're going to do is we're going to call it header columns. So a new container, it's going to be header column. Oh, actually, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it header columns. Actually, do I need that other container? I probably don't actually need the other container. I can probably just say big header left. No, I do need it. That's right. I do need the, yeah, big header columns. And let's see, big header columns, add the box. And the class is going to be, I'm just going to call it big header columns, I guess. Big header columns. And I'm going to shift drag it up. to the header. And then I'm going to create a new container. And it's big header left. Add the box. Just like we did with the footer widgets, we're going to give it a class of C1, right, for the first column. And we'll add one more box called big header right. And we will give it, whoops, that is left. We'll give it a class of C2. Yep, thank you. No dots. I'm too excited. Okay, so big header right and big header left. We're going to shift drag this up into place into header. Oh, I forgot to show you that you can actually drag this little box thing around. I don't have to do it from the bottom like that. And shift drag the left one in. Whoops. Put it in the wrong container though. Let's open this container up. Header left and header right. And C1 and C2. Okay. So we've got that in place. I want to double check the size of my image here for just a second so I get this column the right size. So I'm going to go to Media. And let's see. My large image is 436 pixels wide. Okay. So, and the overall thing is 959. So there's a little bit of math here sometimes. So this overall page width is 959, and I'm subtracting 436. So the other column is going to be 523. 436 and 523. Okay, come back over to CSS. Create new columns. This one is going to be the, did I copy that? No, I did not. Let's cancel that. Back over to HTML. Big header columns, that's the class. Back to CSS, add the package. Big header columns, the name is going to be, call it that again, big header columns. Reference. Two columns. Column 1 is going to be 436. Left aligned. Column 2 is going to be 523. Right aligned. Save it. And then add that. Reference. Save and compile. Refresh this. Just make sure I didn't do something wrong here. What did I just change? Okay. Oh, I haven't saved the template yet. That's what it is. So we'll save the template. And if we come over and refresh it again, so there's not very much up there anymore, right? So we come back over here. I'm going to copy that. No, actually, I'm not going to copy it. And we're going to come over to the header left column, and we want to put a header image here. So what we're going to do is try another box type, and this is called a text box. And I'll call it big header image. Add the text box. I'm going to shift drag it over to header left. And this is where you can put any kind of HTML that you want here. So what we're going to do is create well, actually I already have a sandbox page created for creating the HTML. So we'll just come over here to Pages, All Pages, go to my sandbox page, and I'm going to get out of this other stuff. I'm going to insert an image from, let's see, I think actually I've already got it in my gallery, don't I? Yes, I've got the large, and I'm going to use the large version of it. The title is going to be Go Back to Our Home Page, or actually the title of this one is not going to go anywhere because it's only going to be on, yeah, we'll go back to our home page. And then let's see, Barking Chihuahua Cafe. And then the link URL is going to be just to our home page, right? Because this is, so that's what it's going to do. It's going to be full size. We'll have none and like that. So we'll just insert that into the post. And then I'm just going to cut that HTML. Come back over here and paste it. I don't need a class or an ID for this thing. That's good. Okay, we got our header image, and if we just save the template now, refresh it, there's our header image. Come back over here to About, and it'll take us back home. See? Okay, so there's our big header image. Now, our header right is going to have our nav menu in it now. So we'll go ahead and shift drag the nav menu into header right. I'm also going to put the site tagline into there, so we'll shift drag and drop that in there. And it's going to have the class of menu. That's fine. Leave that as it is. And let's just see what it looks like now. Actually, no, I want to put one more text box in there. So we're going to add one more text box, and this is going to be sort of our page intro. Add the box, and I think in this case I am going to create an ID, a page intro. And then on my sandbox page, I've got some introductory text here that I want in there. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it here. Oops, I lost my HTML. I guess I have to do it from the HTML view. And I guess I probably should just put this in a p tag then. I thought I could just copy that like that, but I guess not. So we'll just wrap that HTML in a p tag. And now we'll save this. Come back over and refresh it. Let's see. Not quite. Where did I put my... Oh, I haven't dragged the page intro into the thing yet. So shift, header right, and then we're going to drag it down to below the nav menu. Whoops. There we go. So site tagline, nav menu, page intro, save template, refresh it. And I am clearly having an issue in widths here. I am having an issue in widths. So my image is 436 pixels wide. So I must have done the math wrong for the next one, which is 523, and it overlaps that. So, oh, you know what? It's inside the header, and the header has some padding. The default header definition has some padding in it. So we'll come back over to this header here and go to the options and look at no margin. Okay, look at padding, and we're going to get rid of all the padding. Now what you see here is the power of variables, and if I get a chance I'll show you how the variables work, but for the meantime we're not going to have any padding at all. Save and compile that. Refresh it. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our stuff in here, but we've got a little bit of styling to do. And the first thing I'm going to do with my styling is, let's see, style the nav menu, I think. So the nav menu style is going to look like this, right? We're going to have these buttons in the background, and then we're going to have text. We're really only going to have two conditions, our hover condition and our regular condition. We won't create other conditions for it, just for time purposes. And we're going to start that process off by coming over to the menu style. And under our options, we are going to say that we're going to turn off the border. Right now it says border is none. And the other thing I want to do is I want to say that the background color, background color, I'm going to say transparent. I haven't actually tried that designation. That works perfectly. Okay, so background color is going to be transparent again, because we're going to put an image in here. Okay, so we save that, recompile the CSS, come over and take a look at it. That should have changed that quite a bit. It has. Okay. So now what we're going to do is create a new standalone package for our two different conditions. If we come over and look at that menu again, you can see that the selector is menu. And in fact, the color, that background color, came from the selector menu A. So that's the selector we're going to create. And it's going to be a single element style. We're going to add the package, and this is going to be menu link, and the reference is menu link, and the CSS selector is menu A. And we are going to pick a color, a background for this. Right here. And the background image, let's see, let's just grab our background image from the media library. So this is our standard one. Now as a developer, what you'd really do is you do this as a sprite, but we're not going to do that at the moment. Let's see, the background position will be top center. So it's 0, 0. Oh no, top left, I mean. No, let's do top center. So 0 and 50%. Now let's just say top center. Background attachment is default. Background repeat is no repeat. And the size, actually we're not going to use this to define the size. We're going to use padding to define the size. So we'll hit save. And we're going to hit save again just so you can see what this looks like now that we've done this. Because now we should have little, whoops, I haven't added it here. So that was menu link. And I misspelled this. So let's fix that. Save that. Okay, we've added it to our list to publish. We refresh this. Okay, so now we've got those things. Now what I want to do is I want to add padding and margin to get these things to separate. So in menu here, in my options, in my menu item padding, I'm going to say, let's see, I'm going to say 30, 30, and I think that's probably good. Hit save to that, save to that. Let's check out what the result is. Okay, so we need more than 30 and 30. I also want the text to be larger, so let's go ahead and just make that menu text larger. Font settings, we're going to make it, say, 15 pixels, and we're not going to use the uppercase. We'll go ahead and use the no text transform. I'll go ahead and center, and let's see, let's hit save to that. I didn't compile it though. I guess I failed to. I guess I didn't choose a color, did I? Let's make it up to 17. Let's make it bold. Let's get the color the way we want it. Oh, that's the link color. The link color is going to be, what color was that? Okay, the link color will be this green color, which is that. Okay, so there's the link color. And then the hover color will be white. And I guess we may as well just add more padding to that because it doesn't look like that's going to work yet. Menu item padding and top padding, let's just make it 40 and 40. Hit save. Save and compile. Refresh. Okay. So the next thing to do then is to specify a width for each of these things, and then to specify some margin. So how big is that image? That image is 108 by 108. Okay. So the width of this menu link is going to be, width is 108. And margin, we're going to give it a left margin of 20 pixels. Richard asks if I can set overflow. I would have to set overflow here by actually physically typing overflow none or overflow hidden or whatever to do that. Because that's one thing you can't do here. So we'll save and compile. Come back over and refresh. Okay, I guess 20 pixels is too much, and I'm still not getting quite enough height. So in terms of menu, we'll come back over to our menu item padding and make it 45 and 45, which should be enough. And then in our menu link, we'll come back over and make our padding or our margin 10. See how that works. Okay, how much room do I have there? So my width is 523. Okay. I guess we better go down to 5. Maybe 5 will work. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't seem to be moving any. So that width is 130. That width is 135. So part of this is the width issue. 108 is getting added to, let's say 88. See what happens. What we're getting is getting the additional, there we go, okay. And so I can probably just add a little bit more margin here. And actually, you know, I should probably menu item padding. Okay. I'm going to give myself some top margin here also, just to push it away from the stuff above. 20 pixels of top margin. Okay, actually, no, I should probably create some. Well, let's do the hover condition. So then we come down to our hover condition. This was menu link. So now we're going to add a package, and it's going to be menu link hover. And it'll be menu link hover and menu A hover. The only thing we need to do is specify the background image. Copy that. Put it in there. Hit save. Hover. Refresh. There you go. That's a no-code custom menu style. Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? So I guess we are going to want to add a couple of additional styles to the menu, because, well, let's just take a look at this again quickly. Going to take out that. I think because I specified transparent there, hover links, active links. Because I specified something there, I think it just didn't inherit from the original. Yeah, that's it. If you specify something, then it wants to inherit. Okay. So the next thing is to style this a little bit. And we're going to create a style, and that's a post box style. And so we're going to create a post formatting style. Sorry, not post box, but post formatting. Add the package. The name of this is going to be, I don't know, page intro. The reference will be page intro. And remember that we created an ID for that, so that's what I'm going to use. Page intro. Okay, now in terms of options, font, the font size I think we'll take to, we'll try it at 16. The width of that, we're going to use his handy dandy little thing. The width of that's about 500 pixels. The text align is going to be left. Headlines, actually we're going to use subheadlines here. Font's going to inherit. Font size will be, I don't know, what do we say? We'll say 18 pixels. And font variant, text transform, everything is going to stay the same there. Except for color. That's right. I wanted to change the color of the font. Headlines. Okay, where's the font color? I thought I knew the answer to this question. Font weight, line height, text align, headlines, font weight. Okay, let's save this for just a second. I must be thinking of something different here. Text color. Okay, well, I'm just going to have to create a second box for this, and we're going to call it page intro text. I think that is something that he'll probably be fixing, because text color should be part of that. And then # page intro. And then our options, we're just going to pick the text color, and I want that brown color, this brown right here. So copy that, put my text color in there. I think I'm good on that. So we've got page intro. And then we're going to do page intro text. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Refresh it. Okay, obviously my HTML is a little different. Page intro. HTML ID is that. Okay. I'm getting mixed up between when I use underscores and when I use hyphens. But often now, when something doesn't work the way you expect it to work, it's going to be because it is because you mistyped something like that. Let's see, I think that's going to want to be bigger though, isn't it? So I'll come back over to the CSS, and we come over to the page intro, and in our options, we're going to make the font settings, font size, let's make it 16 pixels. And the, oh, pardon me, I'm in the wrong one. This doesn't really matter, but font settings, I guess we'll make that 18 pixels. And I guess we'll do it bold. And then the subheadings, 24 pixels. And we'll make them bolder. And let's see, let's give the line height, let's give it a little bit of line height. So we'll say 40 pixels for line height there. And save that. And then that was inside of one of my boxes, right? That was inside of, well, let's just save this. Refresh it. Okay, there we go. So, you know, I could probably set the width of this so that it's a little bit smaller. That's 523 pixels wide. I probably could set that width so that it had some margin. And that would be, that might be the page intro. Is that right? No, it's not there. So I would do it inside the container, I guess. And my container is big header right. And, well, I think you get the gist of that.